welcome back to the Warboss, the Guvna, and we're going to be cracking on with getting this guy a bit more polished. Might not get him done in this sitting, but we'll get there eventually. So first up, we're going to be introducing all light tones, etc, etc. So going to crack on with silver dry brushing first. Even though technically I should probably do that last and deal with the flash first, I'm not gonna. So I'm going to deal with that. I'll be back in a moment. Here we go then, here's our dry brush. I'm just using silver from the model colour range. It's quite a light silver over the top of the tinny tin, which is equivalent to tin bits, or I don't know if they still call it, but it used to be mithril silver in the GW range, if you're looking for equivalents. Obviously I'm using Vallejo paint, just in case you aren't aware. See, obviously it's not obvious if you're not aware, because you wouldn't know. But next up, going to start dealing with the greys on his coat and the greens of his flesh. In fact, what I should do next up really is I should paint in his eye, probably. His only eye, because it's buried, and I want to put a bit of pinky tones around his eye, and then give him, well, I like giving Orks his red eyes, because, you know, Orks is, but I don't know, there's a lot of variation these days. So I'm going to be back in a mo with all of those colours done. So added pink to the mouth and around his eye. Also the lightest colour is actually heavy flash tone, Vallejo game extra opaque. And then we've used thin cold grey over the dark grey on his coat and hat. Also applied the flash tone to the skull, all the teeth, all of his teeth. And you can see at this point sort of stuff starts getting picked out a lot more clearly. So next up, gonna do a highlight on the coat and the skin and then knock it back with ink. So I'll give you a quick glance at it once it's highlighted before I knock everything back with inks. Here we go then, this is a dead flesh highlight on all of the flesh. So although heading into the umi flesh scale before with the heavy flesh, the highlight takes us back towards green scale basically. And it gives us this nice kind of flashy tonal range. In addition to that, mixed a bit of white with the cold grey and run highlights around all of the coat. Now the coat's very light now, so the coat, the flesh and inside the mouth, they're all going to get inked back, because I don't want the mouth to be bright pink, I want it to be red. But I want it to have a nice tonal range, which is why the pink's gone in. So I'll do like a thin black ink wash over this, because I don't want it to go dark black. I want it to be like a darker tone of grey. And I'll use again a thin green ink on the flesh. And I'll do all of these ink washes simultaneously, just being careful to not blend them. And I'll probably start with a green ink wash, so that the ink going into the mouth, because it's easy to be more careful with a smaller area basically. So I'll catch you in a minute. Here we go then. Orks has got tones on. So black green ink has been applied to the flesh, and black ink has been applied to the coat, and the red ink has been applied inside of his mouth. And that's just given us our tonal values. I also applied black ink to the strap on his gun and to his boots, just to start darkening them up. I'll have to apply some kind of highlight before applying the heavier black ink to them to make them look really black. So next up, gonna deal with a tone in stuff on his banner, the greens on his shoulder. Realised I should have put black ink into the bullet hole on his shoulder, but I've just been dumb. Oops. Also applied a little bit of purple ink whilst the red ink was still wet right at the back of his mouth and around in the trench of his tongue, just to introduce a bit of tonal variety in his mouth there. Here are most of the rest of the colours added in then, and I've used jade, very thin, and also didn't shake it very well, so it's come out very dark, but that's kind of how I wanted it, on the green, on the dark green that is. I've applied a mixture of white and heavy flesh onto all of the teeth. Used just heavy blue over the midnight blue on the tassels on his boss pole. And now he looks like an orc, doesn't he? He's not looking quite like a monotone mass. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, at the moment I'm just sort of creating all of these different colours and bringing them to a level where I'm happy with everything's clearly visible. The one thing I've got to do before this phase is done is deal with the fur on his backpack there. The leather, that needs toning, and also need to run some first stage colour onto the red, just so that when I re-red it, because I'll use orange to bring this up, as I often have in the past, and then I'll use red to apply over the top. I might even do some of the white highlighting or orange white highlighting like I've done some other things. And then the cable that's coming out of his power claw is jade green put on really thin over the top of the initial colour, which gave me a nice tone. And then I just used a touch of it's magic blue for me. I don't know what it would be in GW range these days, but just to push that away from the green tone that's on the shoulder pads and such forth. So I'll just do these final bits, which will be the last bits for the moment. And I was just watching something the other day, and apparently this is the technical stage where you do the technical bits, but when Orks is so, it's not very technical. We like basic, but I don't know. I'm confused. Painting used to be much simpler back in the day, and it seems to be getting more and more complicated. And that's because people are just getting better at it. Damn them. So I'll get these bits done and show you what it's like in a second. Here we have it then, all of the sort of stuff. It's done, it's ready. And this is the toning phase complete for me. Everything's now got some colour on it, some toning done to it. All the details are now picked out to some degree. And this is my pre-highlighting phase, because like all the reds which have just been highlighted, that'll get painted red again, it'll get knocked back and I'll re-highlight. I might even highlight again before knocking it back with red. As often I find that that's the best way to highlight red. But he looks like a boss now, rather than just like a sandy beige man, an Umi. He looks like proper green skin. Ready for clobbering people. But I need to just base. Also, I have built a little Gretchen dude which will go on his base. He's possibly going to be called Commissar Yark, as a little bit of a dig at Commissar Yarrick. He doesn't have a big powder claw like Commissar Yarrick. He's got an Ork Warboss for that, and I don't know. I was also thinking that maybe the Guvna here had a defect in his genes where he caused other Orks to not develop very well, so he didn't have very many Orks but tons of Gretchen, because I'm probably not going to do it, but I like the idea of having just a vast grot, you know, the grot guards, the blood axes doing the grot guards, behaving a bit like somewhere between, well, having loads of Gretchen as guardsmen, big guns, having like battalion guns and staff. Treating them a bit like the old colonial armies, I suppose. Battalion guns, forming lines, not lines, well organised, well disciplined, but with really crappy troops because they'd be Gretchen. But I hope this was of interest to you, and all your paint's coming really well. Next time we'll get on highlighting this guy and finishing him off. Thank you for watching, have a good one and take care. Bye bye.